Hello everyone, I'm Colette and welcome to my channel. And today I want to step outside some of the usual ways that we cast, activate, and send out spells and share a few things that are a bit more unusual. Some of these were things that were popular decades ago and I've continued to use them. And these are things that have made my spells more effective, helped me hone the way that I send out spells to be more in alignment with my intention, and they've made me become a more advanced and versatile witch. I hope you enjoy. So some of the really common things I see today are candle magic, spell jars, using spell candles, burning intentions, burning things to banish them, and sometimes burying them in the earth to get rid of them or to help them grow if you use the right intention. And so why would we want to do anything different? Aren't those good things? And of course they are, and they are familiar to you. And so if they're familiar, that can help you focus more on your intention, more on the magic, rather than the mechanics of what you're doing. But the art of the witch is also to use what you have and to try and find the best way to craft something so that it is in alignment with natural forces and use what resonates with your purpose. If we're looking at elemental ways of sending magic and spells out, how do we work with some of the other elements? So I like to work with air specifically when I am asking for knowledge or guidance to come to me, or asking for mental patterns that are stuck to be removed, or also if I'm asking for a help in clear communication with others. And I did a video about that. Hopefully the info card thing will work and I'll put it up there. If not, it'll be in the description. So air helps move things off of you and just takes it away. It completely moves it. If you want to try using air for any of these things, the best method is to go find somewhere where you can feel the breeze moving against your skin. If that is not possible, just find a place inside or outside that faces east. Do whatever you normally do to start your spell or your magic. And if you're trying specifically to get rid of stuck energy or a stuck mental pattern, just breathe and imagine your breath finding what it is inside of yourself that needs to go, and let your breath surround it. Offer your exhales to the wind. Ask the wind to remove that energy or that pattern off of you and to disperse it widely until it is no longer even in existence or impacting you. When you feel ready, stop and thank the wind. If you're a beginner witch, it might be hard to know when it's time to stop. Don't worry about that. Just stop when you want to and trust that as you go along, you will learn when the wind has heard you. So if instead of trying to get rid of something, you're trying to bring something in, like knowledge or information or guidance, start by taking several deep breaths, and as you exhale, whisper what it is you need to come to you on the wind, and ask that what comes be right and beneficial for you. Water is magically associated with intuition, emotion, and dreams, but I also like to think about what water does, what its physical properties are when I'm thinking about calling on it in a spell. For example, water just keeps flowing no matter what. It dissolves anything in its way. Over time, it will dissolve the hardest stone. I really like calling on water in spells when I need to very gently and easily diffuse something without there being any kind of fuss or disturbance or big reaction. Or for when you are in emotional turmoil and need to chill out a little bit and let things go gently, or when the situation that you're in is very emotionally charged or potentially volatile. I feel like that can be a safer and gentler method with less kickback and maybe banishing someone or a situation, say with fire. And eventually, all surface water returns to the ocean, which is the source of life on this planet. And that's a really powerful force to call on. So I might use water to carry spells to the ocean, to ask for information or help for anything that threatens human life. And doing that is more intermediate. If the threat is just like immediate and imminent, I might call on some badass ancestors instead, because I think the ocean's response is not super fast. The way that I call on water and send off the spell is to whisper my intention into a cup of water and then pour that water into a creek or other flowing water. Living in a city these days, I actually really like to just pour it into the sewer system. I just go to the corner and very discreetly pour my cup of water down through that drain, visualizing that underground system of sewers take my intention down through the waterways, down to the ocean, and let it be dispersed. You can also ask water to help you move through and process grief. So light a candle when you take a shower or a bath, and as you step into the water, ask it to help gently dissolve and rinse off your grief. This is a long-term process, and if you want, you can add sea salt to the bath or to a washcloth for a salt scrub to help further invoke the ocean and those powers that the ocean carries of life beginning anew. And your words don't need to be fancy when you ask the water to do this. You could just speak from your heart about what you're feeling and ask the water to help you. Maybe you already know this, but at one time it was much more common for witches to use all the different elements when they were working with spells equally. And let's move on to things that aren't elemental magic and ways of sending out spells. You may have heard me talk about the mycelial net before. It's more commonly referred to as the mycelial network, but what is it actually? So what it is it's a network of millions of microscopic threads that act like roots or the nervous system or body of mushrooms. And it's just below the surface of the earth, and it connects trees and plants together in a whole system, and it helps transfer water and nutrients throughout that system. The mycelial net can send resources where they need to go, from healthy trees to trees that are struggling, so that the whole system can thrive. So just like the human nervous system, they communicate through electrical impulses and electrolytes. And their whole job is to take information and resources where they need to go, and they communicate almost instantly. So I work with mycelial nets and networks when I need to move my spells where they need to go very, very quickly when time is of the essence, or if I am working with needing to send resources for a community project, or if I am doing land magic to support the earth. And I also use it when I'm like, I'm not exactly sure where this magic needs to go. And in my experience, though, they super enjoy communicating. Like if you start talking to them, they'll be like, oh, hello, that's you. Okay, let's go. To bring them into a spell, just put your hands on the ground somewhere where there are trees and plants, and tell them what you need and ask if they'll help. I believe also that the mycelial net could be really helpful in healing spells, but I haven't tried that yet. It's just something that's kind of been tugging at my magical brain a little bit lately. I also like asking winged messengers to help me spread spells far and wide, especially again if I'm not sure where that magic needs to go or who needs to help. Both bees and birds are really good at gathering things and taking them exactly where they need to go. So I like them for that. And the best way to work with them is make friends with them through offerings, things that they like to eat. All the winged messengers, from birds to bees to any kind of small winged thing, really like the flowering sages, those kind of decorative ones, not the garden sage, but the decorative ones. You can find tons of different ones in nurseries. Give them offerings to work with them. Stand near a plant that you've planted for them and tell them what you need and ask them to take it to where it needs to go and to the beings that can bring you help with your spell. So an example of a way I've seen people work with a really pretty big spell using the winged messengers was decades ago. And it was before there were drugs for HIV. And so some witches used mosquitoes as part of a much bigger, larger spell for curing AIDS. And so the way they carried it out was that men who were HIV positive, HIV negative, and HIV status unknown went out at sunset and offered their blood to the mosquito people so that the mosquito people could take their blood samples to the spirit world so the spirit world could see what the problem was. And soon after that, HIV drugs were available. It wasn't a cure, but a lot of people lived because of it. Now, I'm going to just say that not just this spell is what made it happen. There were lots of groups that worked really hard, like ACT UP, to put pressure on politicians. People researched. People put pressure on researchers. All those things are what brought the HIV drugs into reality. However, magic is an influence. We open the way with our physical actions, but don't ever underestimate the power of the spirit world to boost something and let it come more quickly. Check out my description for my extra Patreon benefits, and I am going to be doing an online course this late spring, early summer, so sign up for my newsletter if you want to get early notifications for that. Until next time, stay safe and be well.